Well, here we go. Wednesday, additional thoughts. Drake, if you're reading this, it's too late. It's been a long week. Been taking my lumps in the comments, rightfully so in my opinion. Lots of messages, lots of opinions. I mean, it's just been kind of an up and down ride throughout since Friday. I got a lot of notes here, and it's almost to the point where I have too many notes, so I need to parse it down a little bit. I'm going to kind of hit bullet points here. But I want to start with, in my mind, what is the most important aspect of this channel and everything that happened on Friday, right? Been doing this for a year and a half. The whole concept is pretty straightforward. Outside of the hip-hop, intentional journey into hip-hop to explore the genre, one album at a time, with an open mind. I did not have an open mind on Friday. I repeat, for all the Drake haters out there who did not hear that, I did not listen to this album with an open mind. Did not. And because of that, because I came in with an expectation, and I'll explain this in a bit, but because I started and stayed in a place of expectation rather than listening to the album for what it was, I was so wildly caught off guard by it. It wasn't landing within my expectations. And as each song kept going and kept not doing that, it basically turned into a hate listen, right? Because it wasn't doing what I was expecting it to do. I was getting bored. I was getting frustrated, all this other stuff. But if you look at any other reaction I've done, right? What do you hear? You guys hear me say this all the time. It takes me a couple tracks to settle in, right? The first couple tracks, I'm kind of finding my way. Or where does this album exist? I never did that on Friday. I never did that on Friday. So that's on me. It's my bad. Honestly, you know, when bad things happen in life, sometimes you got to look at the positive takeaways, right? And I think there is some positive from this. Number one, going into 2023, each month I want to react to a real-time album reaction. You know, as a new drop comes in, I want to react to it and enjoy it with you guys at the same time. I think that'll be fun. I think it's good for the channel, current music, all that kind of stuff, right? I'm becoming more comfortable with hip-hop and the genre, becoming more comfortable with my own opinion, where that opinion is based from. I can define what I like and why, and what I dislike and why. These are all good things, right? But it was good to have this experience for me. It was good to have a negative experience in the sense that it kind of put my ego in check. You know, it made me realize, hey, you've been doing this. You've gotten comfortable. You've lost sight of, to me, what is the key thing to the channel. The one key thing, having an open mind. If I don't have an open mind week to week as I explore each album, in my opinion, the whole channel collapses. Because why would anybody take my opinion seriously if it's based on a preconceived idea of what an album is supposed to be, and if it doesn't fit that box, it's crap. It's a joke. It turns into a meme at that point. So that's the biggest takeaway for me. It fucking sucks that it happened with Drake, because Drake is so polarizing already to begin with. You guys would not believe the messages I've been getting. Both, like all the Drake haters out there right now, they're out there doing fucking snow angels in the tears of the Drake fans. They're so happy. They're just giddy over what happened on Friday. And the Drake fans are rightfully not so happy, right? But I hope everybody hears this one takeaway, because to me, when I made this channel, that was always goal number one. And two, I want to have a channel that's positive. You know, I think that's another thing I want to bring to the table, which is why I have these long-term goals and aspirations for the channel of getting a little bit bigger, having my opinion kind of fold into the mix a little bit, because I want to be a person who brings in this position of, no, let's listen to it for what it is. Let's enjoy it for what it is. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But at least let it exist in the space it's created for itself. Don't have an idea of what it's supposed to be, and when it doesn't match that idea, it's garbage. All right? And that's what I did on Friday. That's why it's an L. That's why I'm taking the L. I'm going to own it. I'm not going to excuse my way out of it. I'm not going to argue my way out of it. No, that's on me. And there you go. Now, that's what happened. We're going to get into the why. And that gets a little trickier. I don't know if people are going to understand the nuance that has happened with the why. But here we go. You know, you've got the Drake hater aspect, right? You've got, in my opinion, I think people say, you know, they say I hold Drake to an unfair standard. I don't feel it's unfair. I do feel that I hold Drake to a higher standard. And the reason why, ironically, is not because of the Drake haters. It's because of the Drake fans. These are some of the messages I got about this album. Because I've been going back and forth between, should I do Nothing Was the Same or should I do this album? And as I've made a decision, basically what happens is I talk to Drake fans and they talk me into the other. So it was Nothing Was the Same for a while and then reading this. And then back to Nothing Was the Same and then back to reading this. And just back and forth for a year since I did Take Care. It's the Drake fans that say, this is peak Drake. The best he's ever been. Victory lap. King of the mountain. Solidified himself as an icon within the genre. Drake haters don't send me that shit. Drake haters don't send me anything about Drake because they don't care about Drake. They don't talk about him. So I've had experiences in the past with other albums getting a little hyped up and then me going, oh, like for example, not Graduation, the first one, the first Kanye. Not Late Registration, the one before that. Come on, brain. Don't fail me now. College Dropout. You got to listen to College Dropout. Amazing album, blah, blah, blah. And I was underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed because I had this idea of Kanye. Everything people have said about Kanye, how innovative, how he's changed the landscape of hip-hop so many times, right? So College Dropout, I listened to it, and it's not like it was bad, but I was underwhelmed because it got so hyped up. Which then led to me listening to Eyez because I said, you know, I was expecting more. Outkast kind of suffers the same thing. I think Outkast is great. I really enjoy Outkast, but the people who love Outkast, they love Outkast and they really hype up Outkast. And so I've gone on or into some of these Outkast albums thinking, oh man, this is going to be the one. And I come out of it going, it was good, but I didn't really hear what some of these other people are talking about. Now I want to reiterate, I am not taking what I did on Friday and shifting the blame onto Drake fans. I'm not, okay? I did not come to the album with an open mind. But I want to explain to people why. And so that's part of it. Another part of it too is anytime you have a conversation about Drake, you start hearing all these things, right? All these Grammys, #1 all-time sales, massive artist, world, popularity, all these fans, blah, blah, blah. And so my brain immediately starts taking Drake and all of the accolades that I hear about him, all the praise I hear about him, and with no control of my own, my brain starts comparing Drake with everything else I've listened to. And what have I listened to? Some of the best shit that hip hop has to offer, right? Illmatic, To Pimp a Butterfly, Blonde, 36 Chambers, Liquid Swords. Fucking Blueprint was really good. Reasonable Doubt's really good. There's so many albums that I have listened to. Mad Villainy, Food. There's so many albums that are just fucking amazing. Amazing albums. And so when people really elevate Drake, immediately my brain goes, okay, if he's the best, he's the biggest, he's got all these awards, he's made all this money, he's got all these sales, he's the best. I do. I put him up to this standard. And so that's another part of what happened. And then in terms of the reaction itself, when I was expecting all of this energy, this victory, this king of the hill type of shit, right? And when it didn't happen, I was very confused. I was very confused. And then it didn't happen again and again. And then it just turned into this snowball of nothing's meeting my expectation, kind of like what I talked about before. None of this is landing inside of this box. But that's on me. I never shifted out of that. I never came in outside. I should have never had a box to begin with. And I think what happened was I was trying so hard to, brace myself for what Drake was going to do so I could give him space for that. Because I've criticized him in the past. I wanted Drake to be cheesy, corny, over the top, ridiculous Drake. I was expecting that. I was standing back waiting for that. And then it didn't happen. And there you go. So there's what happened on Friday. I hope all of that makes sense. It's funny. I'll do these videos, right? And I'll talk and 10 minutes go by. I don't even remember what I said. There you go. So there's my opinion of what happened on Friday, how it matters to me, what I think it means for the channel, etc. Okay. Now let's get into the actual album itself. What is my true opinion of the album? Overall, it's fine. I think I like this album a little bit more than Take Care. I listened to Take Care this morning just to give that a spin. And it's weird because Take Care has, I guess, that energy that I was expecting here. But there's more hearts on this playlist than on when I listened to Take Care. The biggest thing, so, Friday we listened to it. My family and I, we went up to Tahoe for the weekend. We went skiing and stuff. I was checking some comments Friday night when we got up there. Took Drake's advice. Don't get online. Don't check the timeline. Like, don't worry about it, because I was getting beat up in the comments, right? And rightfully so. Said, you know what? I can't fucking worry about YouTube comments. Let's go skiing. Let's have fun. Spend time with the family, all that shit. Sunday, we're coming out of Tahoe. It's been snowing, rain and shit, right? All up in California. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. We're leaving Tahoe. Snow, clouds, wind, driving 20, 30 miles an hour on the freeway. I told my wife, look, we're going to put on the album. Forget what we expect it to be. We're just going to put it on and we're just going to listen to it. We're going to let it be what it is. We're going to vibe to it. Okay, cool. We both kind of enjoyed it, honestly. And for me, I think the biggest 180 on the whole album for me is the production. I remember shitting on the production a lot during the reaction. Nothing's happening. It's empty. There's no beat. I was saying all these things, right? Which is true in a sense if you're expecting something loud and victorious. But if you come at it from the point of view of it's a chill album, it's a vibe album, you don't put it on to get hyped up. You put it on to get like moody, maybe get into your thoughts a little bit, maybe kind of get a little toxic a little bit, like that kind of album. Okay. Now I'm clicking with this album a lot more, especially the production. Drake overall, I don't think I'm a fan of Drake. And, there's some stuff where he's good. There's some stuff where he's not good. It's really this strange mix with Drake. And it was fun because I watched, let's see, what did I watch? I watched the Dead End Hip Hop review. They were all over the board on this album. I watched Fantano's review. I watched Mallory Brothers talk about it. It is kind of funny how, and there was actually a point too, I think it was like on Monday, where I was like, I don't even know what my own opinion is anymore because I thought I hated it and now I think maybe I like it, but now all these other people hate these songs but like these songs, and these people like those songs but hate these songs. Like the reaction to this album is very mixed, which in a way helped me calm down a little bit. Like, okay, everybody's kind of all over the map. I feel all over the map, so maybe I'm just on track in terms of experiencing this album for what it is. Let's go through the tracks here. Which ones have hearts? Legend, Energy, 10 bands, no hearts. Energy, Legend for me is just, I don't know. I think one of my biggest complaints with Drake is his voice. It's strange how sometimes his voice sounds great, and then other times his voice is kind of like this nasally, whiny sound, and I can't get into it. That's what really hit me with Six God. He gets into that like weird, like singing voice with "Tell your friends." Blah, 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 blah. I don't like it. It kind of grates on my ears, honestly. Know Yourself, total 180 on Know Yourself. Fucking running through the six with my woes. Yep, I get it. I totally get it. Like, there were people leaving comments going, how the fuck do you not like that beat? Yep. No, I like that beat quite a bit. I like that song quite a bit. The only criticism I have of that song is, especially when you get into the back half, it's really starting to vibe, right? You're really starting to run through the six with your woes. And then they do that weird fucking horn sound, and then it's some Jamaican guy doing his thing. So they stop the beat, and then they pick up the beat at the end for like 20 more seconds. Kind of a weird decision. Don't really understand that. don't really agree with that. I wish it would have just vibed for the next minute instead of interrupting it. Anyway, small nitpick there. No Telling has a heart. Six God, I already said, does not have heart. Madonna does not have a heart. I don't like his whole like that flat delivery that he's doing. It was on, I think it was Dead End Hip Hop. They kind of talked about the same thing, how, or maybe it was Mallory Brothers. I can't remember. How maybe it was an idea of, the drug effect and just being all fucked up. I don't know. Madonna. And then there was somebody else talking about how Madonna is supposed to be this, not allegory, metaphor for cocaine or something like that. I don't know. Doesn't click with me. But then we go on a pretty interesting run. Star 67, Preach, Wednesday Night Interlude, Used To, Six Man, Now and Forever, Company, all have hearts. So back half of the album honestly picks up for me. I enjoy the back half. Ironically, I think my favorite song on the album is Preach. And I also kind of recall talking a lot of shit about Preach. I think Party Next Door did a great job with the production. I like his flow going into it. And I think in terms of what people talk about with Drake and vibing, I can just vibe to that one. It's got a little bit of energy. It's not over the top. It's not blowing up. But it's just got a little bit more than the rest of the album does. There's just a little bit more surging through it. So I really like Preach. And it does kind of put me in this mood. And then when you roll into Wednesday Night Interlude, even though that's a super slow, chill jam, the vibes keep rolling for me. And then Used To is cool because it's fucking Drake. One of the things people said about this album, it's Drake bragging the most. He's the most aggressive and bold and whatever, right? I feel like that's the track where he's actually doing that. One thing that's trouble with me and Drake is like, you seem to get these pendulum swings. It's almost like two people. You've got one guy who's talking about how I'm such a badass. I've got all these bad bitches. I tell my playmate, girlfriend, model, or I don't, I leave her on read and I let her know. And then another song, he's fucking spam texting her. Are we still good? We still good? We good? We still good? It's a strange dichotomy, strange duality to me. And what it does for me is it kind of ruins the illusion of both. If you want to be a badass, make your whole album a badass, because then I can kind of buy into it a little bit. If you want to get down into your emotions and shit, do that. And it's not that people can't feel a range. I'm fine with that too. That's one of the things. You and the Six, I don't have a heart next to that track. I like what the track is doing. I like what it's about. I like that he's open about fucking calling his mom and just expressing these struggles and frustrations that he's having with his career and his life and what it's like. I don't like that he says mama 17 times in a row. Yes, I understand there's an internal rhyming structure in that verse. I get it. I don't care. To me, it's vaporized by the fact that he uses the same word literally 17 times in a row. So there you go. I think Drake does well at getting in his feels, getting into those moods and maybe a little bit of that toxic thinking and, some of the darker places in the mind and just existing there. He does that. But I can't swing back and forth between I'm such a badass, like that's my bitch, you can't have her, you can have her when I'm done with her, and are we still good? Are we still good? Or what's the other one? Now and Forever, right? He spends 4.5 minutes talking about how he's going to leave. Dude, just go. Like, you were telling me how much of a badass you are. You're just going to, you're going to leave all these women because there ain't nothing to you or whatever. And now you're dragging out this thing. And so that's where I struggle with Drake. I think generally speaking, when it comes to his lyrics, I have a hard time with his lyrics. Sometimes he says some great lines. Like I was saying how during the reaction, I said the coldest line on the whole album when his mom saying, "You're just like your father. Thank God you have some of me in you." Because that's pretty fucking cold. 6 p.m. in New York, in my opinion, has the coldest line on the album. I know your girl well, just not publicly. Was that like 8 words? And he has said so much in 8 words, right? Like that's a killer line. That's an amazing line. But then there's other songs like, maybe it was Six God. I can't remember. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to admit it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. It's like, you're just saying the same thing over and over, but you're not saying anything. So that's the struggle I have with Drake. You know, especially with rapping, lyrics. I look at lyrics as a precious resource. You know, the beat and the structure and all that stuff that exists underneath it to hold the lyrics up, that's got to be good. But the dynamic of that beat is that it loops. You know, maybe it builds, it progresses, but it's a core structure that it just exists. And so you lay your foundation out so your lyrics can go on top of it. And I look at lyrics as a precious resource. You only have a finite amount of words that you can use in a song. So I want them to be good. I want them all to be useful, worthwhile. And when people start repeating the same thing, especially if they're not really saying anything, I just lose interest. I lose interest. You know, Jungle and Now and Forever, those both have hearts. I could enjoy both of them if I don't pay attention to them. As soon as I start listening to what Drake is saying, I lose interest. And 6 p.m. in New York is great. And you know what? I had that complaint about how he says, I'm 4 minutes in and I'm still throwing bars or something like that. Whatever. I wish he didn't say that. But I'm not so petty. I'm going to fucking toss an entire song because of one line, because that's pretty ridiculous, right? And I think he makes up for it, honestly, with that line, I know your girl well and just not in public. That's an amazing line. I love that line. So there you go. You know, overall, my wife, she said it best, I think. She said, when am I going to listen to this? And, you know, maybe that's a little harsh or whatever, but, you know, I think of other albums like Astroworld. I did put on DS2 again just to see. How do I feel about that? Because I didn't really get into DS2. I enjoyed it, but nothing hooked me. And I listened to it. I was like, oh, man, I'm actually enjoying this more. But then it got into the back half, and I remembered, oh, yeah, I lose interest in the back half because I did, again, lose interest in the back half. I feel like I like this more than Take Care. I do. My favorite Drake songs remains to be the song Take Care with him and Rihanna. I think the production's beautiful. I think the fucking lyrics or the vocals are amazing. Those two working together is fantastic. I think it's a great, great song. But with this album, it is a vibe. It is kind of in the background. But I feel like there's other things I would listen to in the background. But then also, I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole either, because then it just turns into, oh, well, then why would you listen to this album when you could listen to this because it's better? And then it immediately just turns into this, I'm only going to listen to this one album ever because it's been defined as the best one ever because I think it's better than all the other ones, right? Like, that doesn't work either. There you go. To all the Drake fans out there, you know, I do feel badly. I do apologize because I feel like I've essentially robbed you of a reaction, which sucks because it's been a year basically since Take Care happened. I think that was January of last year or maybe February. It's been a long time. You guys have been waiting for a long time for another Drake reaction, and I fucked it all up. So I do apologize for that. I hope my turning around, realizing that I did not have an open mind, giving the album another chance, even though it was off camera. I hope that helps. I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. Overall, it's fine. I don't know if Drake's going to win me over. That's the biggest question. And so now what does that mean going forward? You know, I said during the reaction, no matter what, I was going to do Nothing Was the Same. No matter what. There was a great comment, a great idea on YouTube comments. Someone said, you know, maybe we should just have Bob react to 10 or 12 of Drake's biggest hits, his greatest. Just do singles. Get a collection of singles, do a reaction to his singles. Drake is known for having these big, huge singles. I like that idea. I mentioned that idea. Of course, immediately everybody in Discord started arguing over, no, you got to do an album. Oh, no, do the singles. That's great. Well, no, but not these singles because these are shit. Drake is such a polarizing guy. It's so strange. It's so strange. Like, it's funny because you listen, you talk to fans of other artists, you know, Kanye or Kendrick or whatever, and like people will rank albums in different orders and they'll argue about that. But generally speaking, it seems like people, you know, they enjoy it. I don't see people talk about Kendrick hits or singles and go, no, that one's shit. Like, they'll say, no, that's not my favorite. I like this one more. But I've seen Drake fans go, no, do that one. Don't do that one. That one is shit. Even though it was a big hit at the time. So it's been an interesting week just for myself, but also just watching the Drake phenomenon unfold in real time in discussion and stuff like that. So there you go. There's the additional thoughts on Drake. Friday, we have a couple guys. One goes by the name of Mos Def, and the other guy goes by the name of, I don't have it in front of me. How do you say it? Twilib? I can't. Sorry, I just fucking butchered that. They go by Black Star. We're going to check out Black Star on Friday. Tomorrow is another Buwag. It's going to be week 2 of January, so it's 10 new songs, 5 new artists. Should be fun. Tune in for that. That will be on YouTube if you want to join that. And yeah, there you go. And I'll probably watch people argue stuff in the comment section that has nothing to do with what I said. And I'll just go, oh well, there you go. We'll see you guys.